a lot of faces. So if you have any questions or particular notes of concern, there's a lot of individuals here who can help you through that. So feel free to throw any questions you have in the chat box as we get going here. Also, as always, at the end, a few of us will hang out and just answer any questions, deal with any concerns, just a general network opportunity if you feel. And if not, you're more than welcome to sign off when we're done. So as we get rolling, I think first up, we have Mr. Murray with our safety moment.
All right. Well, if any of you have been on any national webinars in the last year or so, you realize that the Nationals begun a practice of doing a brief safety moment at the beginning of each presentation. They've encouraged councils and even units to do the same. So we figured we'd introduce that practice into our roundtables. And for our first safety moment, we chose to do something pretty fundamental to all of our scouting activities, which is to talk about the health form, the annual health and medical record that the scouts require. And just wanted to take a moment to quickly run through a couple of the key points of the health form. Now's the time where units are starting to get ready for summer camp activities. And so now's the time to make sure that scouts, if they haven't already, have gotten their physical scheduled and are getting their forms completed so that they can be prepared to go to camp. So on the form, when you are the unit leader and your scouts are turning in your forms, always a good thing before you go to camp for the unit leader to collect the forms couple weeks prior to going to camp so that you can review everything, make sure it's all there, and avoid the panicked Sunday of arrival of summer camp trying to find a doctor conversations. So things to look for on the first page, of course, you're looking for any activity restrictions that may have been indicated for the scout or participant, making sure that there are none. And if there are, discuss any of those restrictions with adult leaders or the staff that are running the program. And also, very importantly, make sure that the parent signature is on that form as a release for treatment for the scout. On part B1, right, there's two parts to B. Drew, you can advance the slide there. On part B1, you have the information about emergency contacts for the scout, so that if anything happens, we need to coordinate and communicate with that individual. The information is there, as well as health history. And health history can be very useful to the medical staff of the scout outing to alert to potential risks, risk factors that may be involved with the activities. If there's any yeses to any of those health history questions, there may be some follow-ups related to that. Go ahead. And on the part B2, as it's called, this is an important one for any medications that the scout or participant may have with them. Those all need to be listed in that sort of standing orders section right there in the middle of the document, just a little bit below the blue ball there that you might see on your screen. That is for both prescription medication and over-the-counter medication. In fact, in New York State, to go to camps, even sunscreen is supposed to be put on that. If a scout is sent to camp with sunscreen, the parent is supposed to be signing off on the fact that they can have sunscreen and have that applied. So those things would go on there. If the only information on there is over-the-counter medication, then the parent can sign off on that. If there's prescription medications, then the doctor should sign that as they do their physical inspection. One note that you see on the screen there is that particularly when you're going on a troop outing or a pack outing and you're going to be handing off medications to a unit leader or have those present during an outing, and certainly if you're coming to a summer camp environment, make sure that all medications are in their original containers, properly labeled for what the product is, and that for prescription medication, the prescription is for the individual who's coming to camp. I know occasionally we've run into an issue at camp where a scout has shown up with a prescription bottle that has their parent's name on it or a sibling's name on it, and they say, well, we all take the same thing, so it's just sort of interchangeable. Can't do that. It's got to be the name of the scout that is actually taking the meds when they're at camp. So please do that instead of using one of those pill of the day pill boxes or things like that, keeping it in the original containers. Then you have the immunization date section there. That is something where the actual dates need to be provided, either written here or attached in a print off from your doctor's office, and not a simple notation that says up to date. It actually needs to have the dates. And for any weekend outings, any trips or activities that scouts are taking that are 72 hours or less, that first part of the form, those first 3 pages is sufficient. So you're going on a troop weekend trip, you're going to an OA event or camporee that's a weekend, that works. If you're going to resident camp or you're having more than 72 hours, you need the Part C form, which there's the Q, other direction. There we go, the Part C form. And that is the one that confirms the, excuse me, the physical done by a healthcare provider, doctor or RN, and that is completed by that individual. They're going to do a quick, check of the patient, do an examiner certification that indicates any activity restrictions that individual might have. If you're going to one of the high adventure bases for BSA, there's some BMI information down there on the bottom, and there's also supplemental pages that the high adventure camps will often require for their particular type of activities. But if you're simply doing something with your troop in a normal type outing or going to resident camp, that's not required. You do need the Part C doctor's signature, however, and that needs to be from a physical within the last 12 months prior to camp. Sometimes we get the question like, my physical was July 12th of last year, and we're coming to camp on July 13th. Is that sufficient? The signature is good through the end of that calendar month. So a July 12th physical from last year is good through the end of July for this year. And so those are just a couple of quick things that you can look for on the health forms to make sure they're all properly completed and filled out, so you can have them all ready to go before you go off to your scouting activities. And that's that.
Very cool. Thanks, Brian. So looks like we have a question.
Yeah, it's Mike Langer. How's everyone doing?
Hey, Mike.
Brian, I don't know if you could talk to it or if someone else. I remember towards the end of last year, there was talk that June of this year, the health form or the BSA was going to require for adults, I believe, over a certain age, having to provide.
Yeah, I can speak to that. Yep. Actually, Mike, I can speak to that. Thanks for bringing that up, because we did indicate at one of these sessions, or maybe a couple of these sessions back in the fall, that BSA had made some changes to the immunization requirements for adult leaders. They pulled that back. They tabled that change, and we have been told that change will not be coming this year. It's probably not coming next year either. So I think somebody may have gotten ahead of themselves down in Texas and announced something that they weren't quite ready for. So no change to the health form. The last health form published was the 2019 form, and no changes to the policies as far as the immunization requirements for adult leaders. And then there was also a question in the chat there. Yes, we'll have some options for sending the forms to camp to do some pre-check at Rotary this summer. We'll get into more details about how that can work when we get into our pre-camp roundtable meetings before the season starts. But yes, we will offer that again.
Very cool. If anybody else has any other questions, feel free to drop them right into the chat box, or we can address them at the end. But very important information, not just for summer camp, but for year-round units, Scouts, BSA, crews, and packs to utilize. So thank you, Brent. Apparently, my space bar is operating two different controls right now, so I apologize, everyone. It was unmuting me and moving it forward. Tori, you're up. Now, I know you're here. I let you in, and you texted me saying that you were here. All right, Quinn, do you want to catch in?
Yeah, I can definitely start, and when we won't let her unmute, can.
Normally, I would take credit for doing that on purpose, but I did not. So why don't you go ahead and we'll keep the thing moving.
Okay. All right. So I'll get started until that problem's solved. So yes, so spring recruitment has started. I'm going to go over some of the notes that Tori sent me to go over our spring recruitment. So this spring campaign in March, through May encourages Cub Scout packs to conduct their recruitment effort in the spring. While this effort may not be as formal as the fall school night program, we encourage every pack to conduct a spring recruitment event for potential new Cub Scouts to visit and sign up and be able to host these new Cub Scouts as scheduled monthly pack events in the summer, such as a swim party, fishing derby, family picnic, Scout night as sports events. So kind of changing the perspective of Scout night in the fall and use the opportunity of the good weather and turn it into things such of that nature or other pack events. So some tips for recruiting in the spring. Scouts can go back to the school in the fall and tell all their friends about the great adventures they had at summer camp. The BSA insurance provided for all registered youth, identify and recruit new leadership before the fall. More members mean more friends to take part in games and activities and adventures. And then youth can participate in your planned summer program activities. Scouting is a great year-round program. Take advantage of the warm weather and planning. The exciting, engaging, all summer long activities. Also in that, you can have your pack summertime award kind of mix in with that as well, the outdoor award. So National Marketing did a survey through Voice of Scouting, and these are just some results. So what drives unit satisfaction? We have great outdoor activities in our Scout units. Another one was support from scouting leaders to help them be more effective as a contributor. Another one was our family feels like we belong in our Scout unit. The fourth one was Scout meetings are a good use of our family's time. And 5, I have support from other parents to help me be an effective contributor. So you kind of see the trend of being part of the pack, involved and being associated. So, and that's a very big thing for the unit satisfaction. Now, why are we recruiting in the spring? So changing culture that they can join in scouting is important. That thinking that you could only join in the fall, if they missed it, they cannot join. So this is opportunity. Hey, even though you missed the fall recruitment, you can be able to still be part of scouting. You want to be able to capture families that may have missed it in the fall, giving that opportunity. Helps the unit develop a summertime program to keep families engaged in the program, recruitment and retention in the program as well. It focuses on the fun summertime program. Don't assume parents are looking at advancements. And I think this is a really big thing. I volunteer in a den for tigers. And I really, when we talk about the recruiting, is just because everybody's doing the advancement doesn't necessarily mean everybody has to. So with this opportunity, just because they're not going to finish necessarily the rank, they still move on. So they can be part of your unit and still enjoy everything that you're doing, hikes, adventures, different activities. So I think that's really important to push. You want to deliver your promise on the fun. Have an adventure with the Cub Scouts. Think of what we did with the Scout Talks. It's about fun and activities, not necessarily about the advancement ranks. Speaks to the quality program. There can be a danger on focusing only on advancement and checking boxes. You want to engage the fun, simple, and easy. If you noticed the newsletter today, we kind of talked about the 3 E's of spring recruitment. One of them was engaging with your units. So I know that was a lot. I was hoping Tori was able to pop in. So these are some different things that you can do that I mentioned, from pool party, barbecue, bringing a friend, so friend activities, things like that. Does anybody have any questions?
When you did awesome for being put on the spot. The only thing that I would add is everything that we do in scouting begins with the invitation. None of this happens without the invitation to families to join scouting. I absolutely love the spring campaign because it gives us an opportunity to give that summer experience, which is the highlight of their scouting, immediately after joining. It makes much more sense to me to join, get that day camp experience, get that resident camp experience, versus joining in the fall and waiting, several months to get that highlight experience. So I know Quinn and Tori, Tyler, we're all prepared to make joining and extending that invitation, the council's top priority. Our team is geared up. I know Drew's commissioner team is geared up. We're all excited for the spring. We've got materials ready to go. There's sample recruitment in a box materials that Tori and her team are sending out or hand delivering. We've got great resources. We've got a fantastic plan. We've had success, and we're super excited about it. So thanks for jumping in there, Quinn. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Quinn. I'm finally unmuted. Thank you.
Okay, Tori or Quinn, whoever wants to. Your notation that somebody may have missed joining in the fall, but they could still join in the spring, brings to mind that there are quite often youth that are involved in fall sports up to their ears, and they don't think they can be a scout at that point. So you get them on board in the spring and tell them, look, you can be a scout. I realize you may have to go to practices on scout meeting night, but when you come late, leave your cleats at the door and come on in uniform and join in with the fun. So make sure that objection and the counter gets included in the material so that we don't lose somebody to soccer or baseball or whatever at some point. Yeah, that's it.
All right, great. Thanks, Tom. And like I said, any questions, just leave them right in the box and they'll get back to you, or we'll bring it up at the end. All right, moving on. Our Vice President of Program, Ethan Angel, asked that we include some information on conservation programs through BSA, and he sent along some information. He's not able to join us this evening, so I'm going to kind of go through his slides briefly and highlight some of the programs that he would like everybody to know about. Two things to keep in mind coming up, the ones that he was really kind of specific about, how these can intertwine, is Earth Day and Arbor Day. Earth Day being April 22nd and Arbor Day being 29th. Great opportunities for projects and outdoor adventures for Cubs, Scouts BSA, crews, and could be an absolute great tie-in through spring recruitment efforts if you're trying to do a low-key, no uniform type of event to engage the community and other people. So it'd be a great bring a friend events. Some of the things that he wanted you to let you know about, he works for the DEC, so some of the resources he brought was exactly from them. Once I get through these slides, I'm going to throw some links up into the chat so that you have them so you can refer back to them. But some ideas that New York State has for celebrating Arbor Day, holding a ceremony or honor guard of the good stewards in your community, showcasing great opportunities. Organize a big tree or oldest tree search in your local park or community. Encourage participation in Arbor Day National Poster Contest. There is a link that when I share it to you, it's for 4th and 5th graders, and it's a national program. Pretty cool. Participate in the DEC school seating program. He made a special note to say for 2022 that has been fully booked out, but they are starting to look to the 2023 program for those looking to look ahead. Choose a public park or downtown area that needs cleaning up and pitching in to clear it of litter. Hold a read-in at the library and have all the tree books, fiction and nonfiction, on display. Schedule local demonstrations on tree pruning techniques, tree selection, tree identification, and tree planting. Order tree and shrub seedlings from the United States Nursery and plant a living snow fence instead of one tree. And then also he strongly encouraged that you reach out to your local DEC office for they would have more programs and ideas that you could showcase even more local to you. So we could absolutely do that. One of the programs that National have is the Conservation Good Turn. It's an opportunity for Cub Scout packs, Scout BSA troops, venture crew, and Sea Scouts to join with conservation or environmental organizations, whether it's federal, state, local, or private, and carry out a conservation good turn in their community. The World Conservation Award is an opportunity for individual Cub Scouts, Scouts BSA's Ventures, and Sea Scouts to think globally and act to preserve and improve our environment. The program is designed to help youth members gain awareness to all nations, that all nations are closely related to natural resources and that we are independent with each other in the world environment. And each one of the links will have the program requirements. It'll have links and also how you can order particular certificates and where to get them, and also the patches. There's a Hometown USA Award, which is a joint program between Keep America Beautiful Incorporated and the Boy Scouts of America. It's designed to give recognition for the outstanding efforts of Scouts in their communities in regard to citizenship and environmental improvements. So if you had a fantastic service project, an Eagle Scout project, perhaps this would be a great opportunity for a youth to gain a little bit more recognition. And then the highest one, the BSA Distinguished Conservation Service Award, is the BSA's highest compensation award available. It's developed to encourage learning by participants and to increase public awareness about natural resource conservation through sound stewardship. The award program has 3 awards as a youth, an adult, and one's for organizations and individuals. This is a pretty significant award. It takes a lot of effort and considerable time. So again, it has a pretty cool medal. There's a little image of the medal there. And I haven't seen too many of these handed out. A lot of people would remember the old Hornaday Awards. Those were discontinued, and these were the replacement for those awards. And then there is a program award that has a conservation approach to it. It includes a series of 6 badges designated to recognize Scouts, BSA, Sea Scouts, or Venturers who have exemplary knowledge and experience performing high-level outdoor activities. There's segments that represent 6 areas of emphasis: the camping, aquatics, hiking, riding, adventure, and conservation. And they have rigorous requirements to earn each segment. One of the gold devices can be earned for an additional 24 hours or 25 hours of conservation work. And then a silver device is earned for each 100 hours on top of that. Until Ethan actually sent this, I was not aware of this award. It is pretty significant. I was reading through the requirements. Again, I'll throw that into the links for you as well. And then lastly, one that could work out well for, depending on where part of the council you were in, is the Scout Ranger program invites scouts for all ages to participate in an educational and or volunteer service project at national park sites to spark their awareness of the national parks and provide scouts with the opportunity to explore the national parks and learn more about protecting our natural and cultural resources. There's a certificate and patches for participating in the award. That comes off of the National Parks website. And again, I'll throw that link up as well. And if you're looking for a natural tie-in, the National Park up in Saratoga would be a great opportunity. And then I do believe there is at least 2 or 3 other sites that are within our council borders. There's a map that'll be available on that website that you can look and see which is closest to you. But you could probably do it and tie in the historical trail at the same time and hit a couple birds with one stone on it. So lastly, for those who are attending Cub Scout day camp or resident camp, there is the summertime Cub Scout activity award. And part of one of those requirements is a project that is improving, beautifying, or supporting natural habits. So you could provide that. We have 2 day camps, one at Rotary, one at Waukpanomi, and also the resident camp at Rotary. And there's an opportunity there if you needed to, achieve the service project for your summertime award, that you could probably work with Brian and the leadership at Waukpanomi to get that done. So keep that in your thoughts. So those are the ones that Ethan had sent to me. He is the absolute expert on this, but he had a conflict this evening, but we wanted to make sure that you were aware of the programs. I'm going to go ahead and start throwing these links up into the chat so that you have them. And I believe Brian's up with a few summer camp items.
Yeah, first up, you can see this year is the 100th anniversary of Rotary Scout Reservation after the original property was originally donated by generous donors from the Troy Rotary Club back in 1922, and we are going to be celebrating this summer. And one of the things we're going to be doing is we put out the save the date on July 30th. We'll be having an open house and dinner at camp, and we'll have tours. We'll have all sorts of other activities going on. More details to follow. Registration is not up yet, but we do have the save the date out there, so you can circle that on your calendars and come out and join us to celebrate 100 years of scouting at Rotary. What else we got going on here? All right, who's ready for summer camp? I know we got a little bit of a taste of some warmer temperatures today, but I'm tired of the cold, and we've got more coming soon. So I like to think about summer camp. And so if you're thinking that way too, we've got the deposits for individual campers that are coming out to Rotary this summer are due on March 15th, which is about a week from now, a week from tomorrow. So if we did send out the information to all the camp contacts through the Black Bug site with information, the planning guide for camp is up on the Rotary website. So you can check that out, but make sure that when you're submitting your deposits, you go right into the scouting event account that you use to set up the account, your initial troop deposit. The link is in the planning guide. It's also on the council and camp websites. If you have any questions, shoot me an email. I can guide you to where you need to go. Just please do not set up a new account by going through the council council calendar and creating a new registration. That'll duplicate things, but we'll get you squared away with that and help you get your scouts signed up for camp. Mention the planning guide that is up on the website. I am putting the finishing polish on the updates to the Cub resident camp one as well, and that should be up in the next 24 hours or so. But the Scouts BSA Summer Camp Guide is up there with pretty much all the information you should need to know about camp this summer. And if you, again, find something you don't have an answer to, let me know and we'll answer that for you. Still looking for good staff members to join us this summer. Join our team. Staff is, I've said it before, but it's one of the real pinnacle experiences in scouting. Being part of a summer camp staff, it's going to create memories that you will have for a lifetime, friendships, basically family that you will have for a lifetime. I know we have several of our key staff on the call with us here tonight, and I think there's some of the rest of you also may have some former camp staff experience in other councils and other camps, and you know what I'm talking about. It's a truly remarkable experience, and still looking for some good key individuals as well as CITs. And you know, I think I've touched on this in a previous meeting, but I'll just say it once again. CITs are 15 years old. They have the opportunity to come out to camp for a minimum of 2.5 weeks. They come during our staff week and spend the first 2 weeks of camp with us. And while they're there during the camp sessions, they spend half their day doing some work in the different program areas, but the other half of the day, they're working on personal advancement. So scouts have the opportunity to go and earn merit badges and do BSA lifeguard or do COPE or go do some of these other programs that they'd like to do. So it's a really fantastic opportunity. If your troop happens to be in camp during a time that a CIT is working with us, they can stay in your campsite so they can still be part of your unit. They can be with their friends. They can serve as a junior leader for your troops so you don't lose that leadership capability there. Really fantastic opportunity for scouts who are looking for that next level in their scouting career. And we've got, am I speaking to day camp? I don't know if we got somebody else on to talk day camp, but I don't think I saw Janine on there. So I will talk about that. We have day camp coming to both properties, Rotary and Waukenaee this summer. We have a 5-day day camp happening at Rotary the week of July 11th. And there's the 2-day day camp happening the weekend of August 6th and 7th up at Camp Waukenaee. And this is a fantastic opportunity for Cub Scouts of all ages to come on out and have fun doing crafts, doing shooting sports, doing all sorts of fun activities. For the program at Rotary, there's also busing opportunities to bring Cub Scouts out from, I know Colony and the Delmar Bethlehem area get hit. Stephen can jump on because I think there's another route that I'm missing there. The second route, it's what, Clifton Park area, I believe?
Clifton Park area, yeah.
Okay, so we've got Clifton Park, Bethlehem, Colony. We'll bring scouts out to camp each day and home from the day camp opportunity there. So fantastic theme this year. It's a medieval theme. So for all the scouts that are into their knights and dragons and whatnot, the team that puts together the day camp always does a fantastic job with working in the costumes and the program elements of the theme. And for the resident camp for Cub Scouts, we're doing a treasure hunters theme. So, get your Indiana Jones hats ready to go and come join us for our treasure hunters theme. Scouts and their parents or their troops, pack leaders will be able to come out for resident camps Sunday through Wednesday, July 24th to 27th. You can see the various activities we've got lined up: archery, swimming, boating, shooting sports, nature hikes, sports and games, STEM activities, all sorts of fantastic stuff. Of course, fishing, which is very popular with the kids, and all built around this treasure hunters theme. They get to stay in the tents. They get to, do a lot of the kind of the aquatics-based program that you don't have a chance to do at day camp. So it's a real fantastic opportunity, especially if you've got those Cub Scouts that are coming in the spring. As Mark was saying, get them out to camp. Let's get them out to camp and hold on to them. We know from years of research in BSA that youth that go to summer camp are much more likely to remain in scouting than those that do not. So plus, most importantly, it's fun, right? That's really what it's all about. So we want to get them out there to camp and have a great time enjoying that. As I said, the planning guide on that one is should be out in the next 24 to 40 hours. We'll have lots more details and information on that. I feel like I've got more coming. No, I don't. Okay.
Steve, I don't know if you just want to take a quick moment on a couple of slides here that are your Walk Economy programs, if you want to touch base on them.
Yeah, cool. So the weekend of July 9th and 10th, we'll have all the program areas open at Waukpamni, especially the aquatics, waterfront area, and all the shooting ranges will be available. Let's go. We are in the process of forming a brand new ATV committee. If anyone's interested, please go ahead and email me. I will put my email in the chat momentarily. We're looking to get a lot more of our scouts and our units trained through the ATV safety program, so then we can start taking them out on ATV tracks. We're gonna have a couple of different shooting sports. We're gonna have our first ever shooting competition for shotgun, archery, and rifle. And then we're looking at offering a youth NRA program at the end of July.
And then for that ATV program, the training on July 20th, that would allow unit leaders to, if they take the training, what?
It would allow you to then come back up and utilize the ATVs, just taking them out on an afternoon track. And that can be scheduled through our office. So
one more thing quickly on the ATVs, if I could jump in, I just wanted to thank our OA Lodge and Donna Gilder for their contributions that allowed the council to purchase our ATVs. They were a loan program through a national relationship for 3 years. That program ended. Their donations allowed us to purchase those ATVs and continue growing this program. So I just wanted to say thank you for that.
Very cool.
And just one question on the ATV safety course, Stephen. When you look on the front page of the council site, it says $25, but when you go to register, it says $50. The safety course on July 20th.
I will take a look at it.
Which one is it?
I don't have it in front of me, so
Okay.
I'll have to take a look at it.
All right. The quick reminder on National Youth Leadership Training, NYLT, June 26th to July 2nd. We had an awesome presentation on that at a previous roundtable. Steve, I know that you're on. Is there anything you want to touch on, or is this good enough? Or
all the information seems to be there. Everything they need to know. 26th of the 2nd. It is up and registration's open. Last look, we had a few people registered already, so we did our second training weekend for our staff this weekend. Got a great bunch of youth leaders who are going to be running this course. So please send us all of your future senior patrol leaders, boys, girls, venturers, doesn't matter. Well, as long as they're over 14 and they have their advisor and or Scoutmaster recommendation, we'll take them.
Very cool. Excellent. Real quick, a reminder on the University of Scouting. I don't think Cheryl's on. Brian, do you mind if I put you on the spot again? You sit in on their meetings.
Sure. We're going to be hosting the University of Scouting in an outdoor format this year. It's a unique experience. We're used to doing it at a high school or college setting, and those facilities are still somewhat locked down as a result of the pandemic. So we took this as an opportunity to try something really cool, which was to get outdoors, get right to the heart of scouting. And so we're going to be offering some sessions. You can see the courses that we're working on there for the University of Scouting that are particularly well adapted to the outdoor environment. So we're going to be hosting that out at Rotary, and it runs from 8 o'clock to 4:15 on May 21st. Registration, Stephen, help me out. I don't think it's live yet, but or is it?
It is not. I'm just
Okay,
still
it's not.
compiling the last bit of classes.
But
So once
that's
we
what
get
I
the
thought.
class catalog attached to it, then the registration will go live. I would say
Right,
probably
that's
within the
what-
next 10 days to 14 days.
Good. Yeah, we've got a meeting tomorrow night, so that's what I thought, that we were just tying up some loose ends on that. So registration will be out soon for that, and you'll be able to come on out and get some increased opportunities for training. And while I'm on this, I see Kurt just put a question in the chat box about the Trex. No, the Trex is a Wakamani specific program, so we will not be doing that at Rotary this summer.
Quick reminder of some of the trainings coming up. There's a big training coming up April 2nd at the Clifton Park Elks. It's all of the Cub Scout leader training, Cub Master, committee member, and Den leader trainings, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. There's also a Den chief training for that particular day for you Scout Masters and Cub Masters who are looking to get some of your youth trained in those particular roles. April 2nd, I believe it's still virtual, is a Scoutmaster and Assistant Scoutmaster training. Mike, correct? That's going to be a virtual program? I think you're still on.
Yep, that's correct. And just a little extra incentive. I actually incorporate troop committee and committee chair and also merit badge council orientation into that training as well. So, you know, anyone that takes this training potentially could walk out, you know, being trained in multiple positions. So it is virtual, but you know, we could get a lot of people in different positions trained. So get the word out to your units if they want to participate.
Great. We also have coming up on April 23rd, the USA Archery Level 1 training at Camp Wakamani from 10 to 2:30 p.m. I don't think Tyler's on. Stephen, can you address what exactly the Level 1 training is and what somebody can do with it? You're on mute, Bub.
Level 1 training allows them to run archery program at any of our camps. It allows them to be a range officer for archery. And so a lot of what that is, there's some pre-work that can be done online, and then the actual training will be how to set up an archery range, how to properly run an archery range, go through all the safety protocols, and how to maintain and care for the archery equipment. So
great. Fantastic. Thank you, sir.
I would just throw in there, it's really helpful for any of you that are going to be offering like camporees, district camporees, those kinds of events, to have a deep bench of people with this certification. So try to get either yourself or other district volunteers out there for this really fantastic training.
Great point.
Hey, Drew?
Yes.
I show all those trainings on April 9th, not April 2nd.
All right, we'll double check that. We'll get the right information out. I thought it was on the 2nd earlier, but all right. Introduction to outdoor leader training, April 29th at Wakamani. It is an overnight. And then basic adult leader outdoor orientation. Basic Blue is for Cub Scout leaders who wish to take their Cubs camping, family camping. You must have at least one individual trained in Blue in order for a pack or den to go camping. So that is a very important training. If you don't have somebody in that particular role, you should definitely try and get them there. That's gonna be May 20th to the 21st. All right, cool. That gets us through our slides. There was a question that I want to touch on before we get anywhere else that goes back. Kurt was hoping that we could touch a little bit on, and this will be kind of a co-thing for Tori, Stephen, and Brian. Touch on some of the financial impacts of joining in the spring, costs of joining in the spring compared to in the fall, prorated amounts, I think is where we're getting there, joining fees. And also, how does summer camp get involved with kids who join in the spring? Obviously late fees waived, that type of a thing. So I don't know who wants to go first. Tori, do you want to touch on maybe the membership aspect of that?
Yes, no, I mean, the financial impact would be, I mean, when you're coming on in the spring, it's a little bit different than, yes, coming back on in the fall. In the fall, when somebody comes in September, they are just paying until the end of the year, and then they have to be re-up again. But I'll tell you, it's actually a positive thing in the spring, because how many times do we have a hard time in the fall when we're recruiting? We go to a parent and they come in and then they're signing up and they're paying for 3 months. And then we go back in December because we need to recharter. So I think a positive spin to this is that they come in the fall, they are actually, when they come in March or in April, yes, it is a prorated fee. Our fees are on our website. Underneath them, if you go over to the membership, it's like this, and you do a little down, there's a whole fee chart right there. So you would actually just go to March or April, give them that fee. And then what is nice is then they are actually registered all the way up until December 31st of 2022. So then we're not also second touching them a couple months later. I know that that's some things that it's been difficult, and sometimes it's hard for some units to have to go back, and some collect it all at once. So I think it's, kind of a positive thing either way. But I do believe that, in the spring, it makes it a little bit easier because you're selling, almost 8 months of a program, 9 months of a program, and that they're good until December of 2031. If you guys got any other questions, I mean, please feel free to reach out. I'll be glad to answer any individually also.
I think it would be important to note, Tori, that if someone's going to be recruiting in the spring a unit and touting that 8 months, that they also have a fairly robust or active summer program. So they're not going dark for 2 months on a kid who joins.
Absolutely.
Great.
And I would just add to that, when think of anything that we do when we pay for things, we want to know what kind of value we're getting for it. And, one of the nice things, about the situation that Kurt was asking about is when you're asking people to pay for summer camp, even though it's fairly close to them joining, you're offering a very concrete benefit, the value of what they're going to be getting for that program. They know that they're signing up for camp, they're getting a week of stay camp, they're getting the 3-day resident camp or whatever the case may be. And you're able to show them what it's all about, and they're going to be sending their scout to camp. And so there is that real value that is offered there. And certainly for any families for whom a hardship exists, there is a campership program for summer camp. And I probably should have mentioned that earlier when you're talking about the camp as well. But you go onto the Rotary website at rsrbsa.org, and right there on the front page, you'll see a big link that says Twin Rivers Council campership application. And so that applies to any families that are going out to summer camp within council this year. But for scouts in that particular situation, if that presents a hardship, that's an option for them as well. But really, I would just sell it as, or not even just selling it, but promoting it as this, you're coming into scouting, and what better part of scouting is there than getting outside, getting outdoors, going to camp, enjoying the time with your friends and your new unit. And yes, there's a cost associated with that, but we're providing you a good value for that cost.
And then I guess I would follow up as well with, and I'm going to go to Brian and Mark and Stephen on this, is if a family were to join scouting after the campership deadline and they needed that help, if they were to reach out to the office and have a conversation, would we entertain still providing camperships after the deadline?
I think we've done a very, very good job at that. Absolutely.
Fantastic.
The campership deadline is April 1st, so that it allows the campership committee to review the applications and provide information about awards to the Scoutmasters preparing for the May 15th payment deadline for Scouts BSA camp. But the registration deadlines for the Cub programs are later than that to begin with. And so we do have time to continue to consider those applications as they come in after that April 1st deadline. The April 1st deadline is for everybody, but it's really kind of set up for the timeline of Scouts BSA registration. And there's other questions I'm seeing in the chat about camperships. Yeah, I mean, camperships can apply to scouts that are attending either Cub Scout camp, so the day camps, or the Cub Scout resident camp, as well as Scouts BSA camp at Rotary. So, and part of the application is asking how many children the family has, as well as how many children are going to camp, and that could include both resident camp or day camp or what have you. And yes, Denny, there is a discount for siblings going to Scouts BSA resident camp at Rotary. It's $40 per scout on the second child in the family and every child thereafter. So so basically the first child pays the full rate and then $40 off for each successive child after that.
And then for Cub Scouts, Stephen, is there a discount for second parents or second siblings?
I don't have any issue with offering that for Cub Scout resident camp. I don't have an issue of offering that for day camp either, as far as that goes.
All right, so if it doesn't explicitly say on the website, please have a family or a leader reach out. And also, that's a great example as to if they do have a hardship with more than one kid going, for them to fill out a campership and try and go that route as well. But a conversation, a phone call would always be beneficial. Just kind of going through the comments here to make sure. Steve or Mark, did you want to say something? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think it's important to note that in the past, we've had unit leaders submit camperships on behalf of several families at once. We've changed that practice. We'd really like to view this case by case and have individual families complete that campership application. And I think it's more meaningful, and I think we can do much more support for the families that need it. So that's a slight change over the past couple of years.
Kind of going down through here, Craig mentions that he has a 5-mile orienteering course at Saratoga Battlefield. Happy to share. Craig, you may be happy to know that when you shared it with me a few years ago, it is still up at the website. All the links that you gave me through that Google Drive, and you absolutely have full authorship credit on that website. It has listed your name and troop number, so that is still up there. So definitely have the information. It was a great addition to the program, so greatly appreciate that. Thank you. The links I threw out. Will, you got that one. Is archery training offered regularly? Steve, is this going to be a one-off thing, or are we going to do this on a regular basis, you think?
I believe that we're offering it twice this year. We're offering it one now, then we're offering it once in the fall. So for this year, it's going to be offered twice. The person's putting on is actually doing it as part of his woodbed ticket. So
Great.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we caught up with all the questions there. And that hits us at like 8:23, which is just under an hour as usual. We're here if anybody has any other questions. Otherwise, that's going to be the end of the program itself. Appreciate everyone's time. The next one up is April 4th. That'd be the next one. And happy thoughts, 13 days until spring, 106 until summer, and only 118 until summer camp. So good things are coming right around the corner for everybody. Mark, you have your hand up. Go ahead.
I do. I want to, I don't want to end on this note, but I do want to share with everybody that we lost one of our scouts, Brendan Sherwood, who was a 16-year-old scout. And I can't imagine what the family's going through. So please keep your thoughts and prayers for a scouting family and close to you tonight.
Was that a scouting event?
It was not. It was not a scouting event.
Yeah, I don't think that would be appropriate to bring up anyway at this point.
Yeah.
Great. All right, everyone. Appreciate your time. I'm going to be here hanging out, but I'm going to stop the recording. And if you have to take off, then you have to take off. Enjoy, everyone. And then again, we'll be here for a little bit if anybody else wants to talk.
Yeah,
Mike, you were about to say something, weren't you? Go ahead, Mike.
yeah, and it's something just to hang out and talk at, so it's not anything for the program, but